And now we can move on to the co-main event. Caio Borralho versus Michal Oleksiejczuk, a guy we talked about in the last fight. Oleksiejczuk has, sorry, my breakfast or lunch is coming back. Plus 240 here out of Poland, 28 years old, 186 pounds, 6 foot tall, 74-inch reach. The 5-on-in, he has a split decision win over Modestas Bukauskas, which was a good showing. Shamil Gamzatov, which he went out there and he laid a good uppercut on him to get the finish. He took a loss to Justin Jacoby in a fight where it was largely a stand-up battle. He tried to take Justin down a couple times. He was successful a couple of times, but Jacoby was able to get back up. Jacoby, for whatever reason, wasn't using a lot of leg kicks, which I think could have definitely deterred Michal Oleksiejczuk's style of coming forward. Which is really where he does his best. Knocked out Sam Alvey, as you would expect, 7 months ago, and came back and had the knockout win over Cody Brundage, I think, at the very early on in the second round after he was winning the majority of the first. You have Caio Borralho. So just to finish up the book on Michal Oleksiejczuk, he's got strong grappling. He's got a strong right hand. He's going to plot forward. He's not going to do anything too crazy on the feet. He's very boxing heavy with the opportunity to throw low leg kicks and maybe a kick to the body every here and there just to switch up his punches. He'll eventually take you down if the stand-up isn't working. The stand-up is his first and primary weapon, but he can and has shown some ability to take people down and have some success grappling if that's where it has to go, especially if it's up against the cage and win some minutes there, just to tire you out so that he can throw a couple more shots. But he hasn't been known to get a little bit tired as the fight goes on, especially in the end of the second and the third round, if you keep fighting and you are able to thwart some of his takedowns. For Caio Borralho, the natural, 13-1, looking at his last 5, he's got a decision win over Aaron Jeffrey. He knocked out Jesse Murray on the Contender Series, had to fight twice there. And then he had the decision win over Gadzio Margadziev. He had a decision win over Arman Petrosian, the striker. And he had the decision win over Mahmoud Muradov 5 months ago. Caio Borralho is a guy who, even at 6'1" and 75-inch reach, we've seen him go out there and really, have some really good performances and beat people the way that you think they would. You didn't think he would. Like Arman Petrosian, he is a striker, but Arman Petrosian does have some really good grappling, and Caio Borralho was able to take him down and basically be on his back and basically big brother him the whole fight. He's minus 300, which I think is actually a fair price on him because I think he's going to have a solid striking game. I think he'll be able to at least pair with Michal Oleksiejczuk. Oleksiejczuk may win some of the exchanges, but I think overall Caio Borralho is going to be able to get the better of the ground and be able to stand up for himself on the feet. I don't know if there's going to be a finish here, but I think Caio Borralho is definitely going to be able to, if Michal Oleksiejczuk tries to take him down, I think Caio Borralho is going to be way more advanced in the jiu-jitsu to be able to thwart a lot of what's coming back at him from Michal. And I think also just because, of he's got a stronger build to him at 30 years old. I think he's going to have the power advantage. I think he's going to have the speed advantage. And he may even have a bit of a technique advantage too. So I think everything is pointing for me in the favor of Caio Borralho to get this one done. Because of the variety and the unpredictability of how this fight could go, I'm going to take him, just minus 300. As much as it hurts to say, I do feel pretty confident in him against Michal Oleksiejczuk. Like I said, against some of the top level striking competition, Oleksiejczuk has seemed to fade a little bit, whereas Caio Borralho, we've seen him not really have too much of an issue up until this point. He's, obviously dropped a few minutes or hasn't been dominant the entire bit of every single fight. But to his credit, he has been very impressive for the majority of the time spent in the UFC octagon. And there's not really anything about Michal Oleksiejczuk's game that's going to concern me here. He does have a couple of knockouts, like I said, of Sam Alvey and eventually finishing off Cody Brundage. But we've seen a pretty good chin on Caio Borralho. We've seen some good striking on him. And we've seen him, again, be able to use that jiu-jitsu in a very effective way to where I think he's going to be able to get this one done. And we look at Tapology. Tapology's right there with me, 85% on Borralho. A lot are going by decision. If I had to pick a method of how this fight's going to go, I would say by decision, not just because Tapology is influencing me, but because, you have some pretty solid grappling by Michal Oleksiejczuk. And, he does have a good chin in and of himself, especially after getting rocked a couple of times. I think at the beginning of the second round by Justin Jacoby went and he swarmed him. And, he was able to fight that off. He was still on his back foot, but was able to land a punch every here and there to really stop Dustin Jacoby from getting all that momentum going and landing a bunch of onslaughting shots. And I think he'll be able to do that here if he gets stunned too. So I think Caio Borralho maybe at that point would take him down and try to lock up a submission. maybe in the first or second round. He goes after that. Later on, he realized even though that he's really good on the ground, that Oleksiejczuk is grappling heavily enough to be able to thwart his offense, and he's having success on the feet, and he might go there even if he's changing shots. So it's really unpredictable, but I think that neither of these guys have a terrible chin issue, and I think they both have good enough grappling where we're probably not going to see a submission. So I'm going to go Caio Borralho, 29-28 or a 30-27 decision here. And moving up to the main event, this is a fight that has been moved off of this past week's card so that they can put it on this card as the main event after what was it? Arman Tsarukyan and Renato Moicano fell out. That one was really disappointing because I loved watching Renato Moicano fight. So Arman Tsarukyan, I think he's looking for another opponent. I think there was a period of time where he was potentially going to take on Beneil Dariush at UFC 288 in Newark. Ends up that Beneil's going to be taking on Beneil's not going to be taking on anybody. He's going to be taking on Charles after they wait a month because just something about Charles' injury could be fixed inside of a month. Nevertheless, we get the benefit